Hey everyone, welcome back to the Restored Dogwood. Today I'm going to show you how I took a $20 vintage sewing table and modernized it without losing its vintage charm. I bought this table from Facebook Marketplace with the intention of using it as a side table in our front living room. I knew I wanted to have the table legs be a natural color, so the first thing I did was get out my Surf Prep sander so that I could sand the old finish. It feels like I tried every single kind of sanding pad that I have, just trying to figure out what worked. So I really don't have a great recommendation. If you have one of these, or if you have a different kind of sander, just try to start with a high number, 220 or even higher, and go lower until you find one that is taking off the old finish without sanding the actual wood. So here are several hours worth of experimentation in a 12-second montage. Enjoy! I just wanted to reuse some old flooring and fill in that hole so that I could use the sewing table again, or the kids' crafts, or whatever. But my husband had this great idea to put everything together with L brackets, and that way I can still lift up the flap and have a little storage underneath. We got the kids involved, and they even got some pieces out of it. I used the sander as much as I could, and then I realized it was going to be time to use a chemical stripper, which you know I don't love. I got out Citrus Strip, which is supposed to be less powerful, and I did everything outside with good ventilation. First I put it on all the legs, and then I wrapped it up in plastic wrap. I have tried in the past to reuse packaging plastic from things that we've gotten in the mail, and it just doesn't work as well as food plastic wrap, so I keep saran wrap around just for this very purpose. So I've seen in different kinds of blogs and websites that mineral spirits is supposed to be a really good cleaning agent. I've used it before when I was trying to remove wax from a piece of furniture that I was going to repaint. And I showed that in another video, so I will link that in the description below. So again, I did everything outside, and whoa, it created a huge mess. I got a brush at an auto body shop with steel bristles, and I was using old rags to clean off the citrus strip, scrubbing as much as I could, and I had pools of orange finish all over the place. But doing it outside was helpful. I was able to just use water to clean off everything. Then I still couldn't quite get the finish out of the grooves in the legs, so I used a small piece of sandpaper, about 100 grit, put it around a plastic tool that I have, and I went in those grooves to get rid of the finish. Finally, I had the legs looking the way I wanted them to, and I did a scuff sand of the whole table with a coarse pad from Surf Prep to get it ready for primer and paint. After all the prep work, it was time to take the table inside. I wanted the legs to have a light washed look, so I used Country Chic's limestone glaze. I used very light layers, and it gave me the look I was going for. I had a hard time deciding what color to paint the top, and going on vacation in July gave me some time to consider my options. One of Country Chic's feature colors for August is Opulence, and I was immediately drawn to the color even though it wasn't one I originally considered. Being a boy mom, we have exactly 0 things in this house that are purple, and it's not even a color I wear often. Opulence is a deep eggplant, so it's just different enough to be a little daring, but not completely out of my comfort zone in style choice. I thought it would be a fun change. I started with a very thin layer with my paint sponge and realized I didn't do a very good job of priming because the paint was having some trouble adhering to the glossy finish left on the table. I did one thin layer and at least 2 more thick layers and filled in some spots that were light on coverage. Just a reminder that prepping is so important, especially if you're painting over something glossy. So after I put a few coats of Opulence, it was time to seal everything. You can see I'm sitting down here because I was trying to save my back and get a bit better habit of not bending over things. But as you see, I don't stay sitting down for very long. I just like to really get in there, and hence why I have so many back problems. But more on that another time, and I will let you guys know what I decide to do for that to make things a little bit easier for myself. So be sure you're following us on Instagram because that's where I'm going to be sharing most of the behind the scenes. But anyway, back to the clear coat. I put the first coat on the top with the sponge and all the other parts, and I really love this sponge. It's really easy to apply the top coat. And then I go back a little bit with a brush, a big brush, and sometimes with my small brush, and that's how I do it. My biggest piece of advice to anybody doing painting by hand and also doing top coat by hand is just to do it once, do one coat, and then just walk away, and don't freak out if it's not perfect, because you'll have another opportunity to fix it. As you can see here, I'm going over things. I'm just so type A. I can't leave things alone. I can't stop fiddling, and I regretted that later because everything kind of looked a little bit overworked to me, and that bothers me. So just do it once, and you'll have a chance to fix it later. One of the things that I don't show here is that I sanded with about 1,000 grit sandpaper each time in between each coat. That really helps smooth things out, so just keep that in mind. So here's a reminder of how the table used to look. And here it is now, totally transformed. What do you guys think? What do you think of the purple color? I would love to know, so let me know in the comments. I did add some little strips of felt on the side to help preserve the paint where I am going to lift the flap down if I'm doing sewing or doing some kind of project. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the transformation. I enjoyed doing it. I learned a ton, did so many new things, so that was really fun. Thanks so much for Country Chic for their products. They're a great company. I highly encourage everybody to check them out. It's a wonderful company with fantastic people and fantastic products. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, where we post a lot of behind the scenes and updates and things. And that is all for this time, so I'll see you next time. Bye.